parliamentary committees, and in the last few days there has been a disagreement between Jubilee and ODM over the recomposition of those committees.
To approve changes in various committees. However, when we looked at the list of the Jubilee side, of course we have the BBI agenda ahead of us, and the BBI agenda requires people who are committed to this process. There's nothing like Raila team, Uhuru team have disagreed. It was not disagreement at that level. And I'm happy that the leader of majority, also after we had engaged with our leaders, agreed to withdraw. We must change people like Sholei, people like Murugara. These are people who cannot support this.
That was Minority Leader John Mbadi saying the anti-handshake MPs should not be in the crucial parliamentary committees, especially as we enter the BBI stage. Is that a sign that not everything may be rosy in this alliance between the president's team and that of the ODM leader Raila Odinga?
Where I come from, people are polygamous. They marry many beautiful girls. But there's always one general trend that when you marry a new lady as beautiful as Julie, you mistreat the first lady. So President Uhuru has gotten a new lady called ODM. They are kicking out the deputy president. And that, normally the house of the big lady, it finds when the children are grown up, they are whatever. And eventually, when now the mzee grows older, you know, the children of your younger house are younger, but the children of the bigger house are bigger. Some are in America, some are in Britain, Australia. That is where now, when you are coughing, the way I cough, you go to the local dispensary. The mother, if he coughs like that, they say, "Hey, mommy, that cough of yours, please come over to Washington, D.C. We check it." So, what am I saying? The new lady has come in. You have just heard Mbadi talking about we don't actually, we don't want war, we don't have this. Because they think the enemy within is the DP Ruto's allies. But from what I see as Weda, they will cry tears going forward because they are relatively weak in the coalition. They want something which the president cannot deliver. They want a powerful prime minister elected by parliament. Why would that not work? When you go and tell the Kikuyus that, you see, this targets you people. They want to reduce your numbers so that your votes are useless. So, you understand? Your votes are useless. That's why we want to elect the big leader in parliament. The Kikuyus will tell you, no. Direct. One of the biggest problems that split Jaramogi Oginga and Matiba was this question of direct election. Jaramogi wanted presidential election for a candidate to be elected by delegates. Matiba wanted direct because he knew from his backyard, one basket he has taken. So that is what they want, and that is what, even if the president wants, he may not deliver unless he forces the new constitution with a powerful prime minister on people.
One region that is dominating the national politics with a team that is pro-handshake and another team that seems to be veering towards the DP is Western Kenya.
Viongozi ambao wamekaa hapa na wengine wakasema, wewe Wamalwa na wewe Oparanya, mtusaidie kwenda mbele kupata maendeleo katika Western.
Kahawa imekufa, mahindi haina bei, inputs hakuna, lakini ja kushangaza, magavana wetu ambao wana control 50 billion per year wanaenda kwa rais wa nchi kuomba basi.
Investment ya infrastructure katika eneo hii has not developed, and therefore it has continued to impoverish the people of Western Kenya.
Madividi says the issue about development of Western Kenya, but we all know that the real issue is the high-stakes politics in Western Kenya. The Oparanya Wamalwa team seems to have the blessings of the president, and they had a meeting with him last week, even though Weta dismissed them as just begging for a bus instead of addressing substantive issues.
Support of the Western people has not been based on Oparanya and my classmate Eugene Wamalwa. The dynamics there are different. That is why they have been able to follow Honorable Raila in opposition. Honorable Wamalwa's kinsmen. When I talk about kinsmen, I talk about Bokusu sub-nation in the Luhya nation. Went with Jaramogi in 1992. They have been out until the elections of 2002. You understand that? And the last elections, they were there in Jubilee, but not 100%. So the dynamics there is not about development, it's about what? It is about who gets into their hearts. And the person who has been in their hearts is Honorable Raila Odinga. That is the person who still holds sway, and it will depend with the direction he wants to go. Age and ill health makes it difficult for him to go and do Tialala Tibim. And you can see slowly Honorable Mudavadi is resurging, is coming up, is becoming stronger. So the whole spectrum is not about development. There's no development President Uhuru can take to Western that will make them happy. Because that's not what they're looking for. They are looking for power. They want one of their own to be president. It is only that they don't know how. We as the Luo nation, we want one of our own to be president. It is only that we don't know how. We have tried with Raila, but he also plays ping pong. But because in 2007 he almost got it, we have hope in him. So even if age and ill health is catching up with him, we still believe he is the best bet. Whether that is true or not, we don't know. It is not about the president holding meetings. Even if the president was to hold meetings with all of us and Mbadi and the rest, if Baba comes and says, this is the end of the handshake, the Luos will walk away.
The registrar of political parties ruled that the decision to expel Senator Cleophas Malala did not follow due process. What's your reaction to that decision, and what does it mean for other parties that may be trying to crack the whip against errant members?
I think one of the things that those who are trying to take over Ford Kenya, those who are removing people from ANC, should do is to follow the law the way it's supposed to be done. They're not supposed to sit somewhere and then talk tough, and then you say, we have removed you. That is setting dangerous precedent at a time when there's law. But they have Kanu hangovers. In Kanu, there were days people do kangaroo sitting, and then you are expelled. That they should know. Secondly, the registrar answers almost directly to the president. So if you are playing opposition, and you are trying to do things, please ensure you follow the law strictly. Otherwise, the registrar will look for any slight excuse to hit you back. You remember the changes in Jubilee?
Yes.
Jubilee did not follow due process. The same registrar was forced to say something is wrong. Now, that tells you that if we could do that to Jubilee, where his or her bread is buttered, from where the bread is buttered, he could say, no, this one is unsustainable. What about now the rebel opposition parties?
Charity Ngilu of Kitui has been on the spot with the Senate Public Accounts and Investments Committee over non-expenditure of 1.5 billion shillings allocated to her county.
General is writing their report. Don't they ever get an opportunity to meet me as the governor? Because he works very, very closely with the officers, but I never meet him.
What the committee is interested in is why didn't you spend 1.5 billion Kenya shillings?
Chair, I think there was a clear violation of the law. Investigations have been done by the institutions that are charged with that responsibility. We await, obviously, reports, but I am told that a lot of the documents were banned.
Charity Ngilu is under siege from both the county assembly, with MCAs baying for her blood, and we just heard the Samangeri Senate Committee is asking her tough questions about not spending 1.5 billion shillings. That's a new dimension where there are public money allocated but not spent.
They're just book money. And it is easy to think, oh, there was money and you didn't spend. There are truckloads of laws and procedures and steps you have to follow. It happens even in national government. There is money to build a road. You have not done the drawings. You have not done the tender process. You have not done, during the Quebec administration, part of the crisis they faced was lack of contractors. People to construct. There was money, there was time. But so, I hear where Ngilu is coming from. And the fact that they also burnt where these documents are kept.
Yeah.
So unless somebody is just looking and say, why didn't you spend? Why didn't you spend? And you say, the question should be, did she attempt to spend? People are supposed to be removed, not for incompetence, but for doing things unlawfully. theft, dishonesty, and so on and so forth. Whether you are competent or not, it is your employer. The boss is the employer. If you are not doing well here, Julie, we can't take you to Central Police Station and say that lady, even the way she was doing the radio, very incompetent. We take you to your boss. But if you take the microphone and put it in your bag and walk away with it, we take you to Central Police Station.
Yes.
So saying that Ngilu did not spend money is not a matter for her to be questioned and removed. That's a matter for the electorate. The MCS who are talking about it, all the money that goes into the county, they are the ones who allocate. They are the ones who say this money will go here, this money will go here, this money will go here, we now authorize you. So coming back to say she didn't spend, I really don't understand what they're talking about. And if they do it in the assembly, it's not about remove or take it to the Senate.
This is the sector of the economy that is sugar. This was the announcement made by the Agriculture CS Peter Munya late last week.
Taken the following remedial measures. 1. Suspended all brown sugar imports into the country with immediate effect until further notice. 2. Suspended pre-shipment approvals and extension of all sugar import permits with immediate effect until further notice. 3. Prohibited the importation of raw cane with immediate effect.
Weda, you served as chair of Sony Sugar Company, so you understand these matters better than most people.
Yes.
What is the impact of that decision by the CS? Does it really improve matters for sugarcane farmers and the local industries, or are we closing the door when imported sugar has already been dumped?
Let me tell you this. If the entire country, the mills in the entire country, there are about 10, government 5, the others are, if they are all working at maximum levels producing sugar, they will do sugar that is about 70% of the Kenya's requirement of sugar. They can't produce enough. Therefore, some sugar has to be imported. Simple, clear. Number 2, the problem that is affecting the local industry for now is not sugar importation. It is lack of milling cane. That is why you have heard him saying we have suspended importation of raw cane. In other words, there is no cane here, so the rich private mills, they import raw cane from another country, which is very costly. So it is problem with raw cane. Number 3, the public mills. The policies which have been put in place is basically to frustrate them to ground to a halt. We have never had excess sugar. The time I was in Sony up to now, I've never known. Is there any day you woke up and you found that sugar is now so cheap, you can put 10 whatever. So these are political statements that do not address. What addresses the issue? They need to inject money to show up some of these mills. They need to bail out some of these people to pay farmers. And then they need to control so that private mills do not take away cane that has been grown by public mills through investment. Private mills do not invest in the growing of cane. They don't put their money. Public mills put their money. Then private mills come and pot the cane. Some of the problems are clear. We wrote about them, they're documented. But when you want to do politics, you say, I have stopped the importation of sugar. If what we have is less, you will see sugar going at 200 slaying a kilo. Because sugar is carbohydrate. Is addictive. And whether you are rich or poor, you can't say, I'm so rich, I'm going to take 10 spoons per cup. Or I'm so poor, I'm going to take half a spoon. No, the addiction requires, that's why people will pay a premium for the sugar. So the minister needs to look at these things with some kind of wisdom.
2 national rugby players were found guilty of rape last year, sentenced to 15 years jail term each. They appealed the sentence, and just over a week ago, the court declared a mistrial because the prosecution did not swear a witness. Here's the Milimani Court Magistrate Zainab Abdul freeing them on cash bail of 300,000 shillings each yesterday.
prosecutions by the defense as far as bail terms. The charges herein are very serious. However, it is the accused person's right to be released on bail or bond if there are no compelling reasons advanced by the prosecution to warrant the denial.
So the judge who declared a mistrial found that one witness did not swear by the Bible or by any other religion they profess, and so the whole case is being retried. That procedure that we take for granted can determine the fate of an entire case.
The weight of evidence you give is treated whether you swear or you speak freely like Chief's Baraza. That is what the law says. And when you don't swear people, then the oath has a very big significance in law and the weight you place. Now, if you look at that case, I think the judge looked at a technicality. But if you look at the whole case, it's a melodrama. You know, when you are charged with something like rape, the whole world is emotional. Your relatives and friends want to run away from you. And that circumstances where you can't. And sometimes you find you have raped these people in your own house.
You find that.
Yeah, you find they'll come all the way to your house, they spend a night in your house, then rape comes, you say, Jehovah, the way we were tutored and tuned. You don't speak, but we are going the Mzungu way.
Yes.
Where every step you have to get a yes. Every step. But the way we were trained, even the way our sisters are trained, you don't say yes expressly. You can't tell somebody, come over to my house, you do this. No. You just say, oh, come, we have a cup of tea, we watch a movie, things like that. But now, that is rape. So looking at it, I think the judge may have just looked and said, can I find some technicality to just set these people free? So that, and because of activists, you don't just set them free freely. They will make noise, so you find something. But I looked at the case.
Yes.
I had quite a few question marks. I would easily, if I was the judge, I would have just released them. But being a male, they would say that's male chauvinism. But we have to contextualize some of these things. Like we have cases where if you sleep with a girl below the age of 16 or 14, you will go to jail for life. But that applies even their age mates who are equally younger. You understand what is interesting? A girl is 14, the brother is 11. Then the boy is jail. We are saying something is wrong somewhere. You understand? As here, as I've told you, we were trained and brought up never to speak. You can't tell a lady, come for this. You can never talk like that. You are never allowed to talk like that. But in America and Britain, you have to, in fact, you can put it in a text message, which you will use in the defense. So I think we have to contextualize some of these things. Otherwise, we are having an explosion. We are having young people getting pregnant. The way how are we going to address them? Police. I say, no, this is a social breakdown. It's not about police. It's about how our societies are working. Do we need to retrain parents? What is interesting is that the children of the middle class are not getting pregnant because the parents have taken police roles. If my daughter is going to the shop, the brother is escorting. You are watching your watch. How long?
Yeah.
So it is no longer like a free society where society will take responsibility. Now you see children kissing along the road. You don't ask them. But they were there when I was growing up. You would be beaten up. You can't sneak with them. If you sneak with somebody's daughter into a room, even the lodge owners will beat you up. Now they don't care. So we have to change tact.
It's been a real pleasure hosting Ambrose Weda, Esquire, Advocate of the High Court of Kenya. He's our regular analyst every Wednesday morning to help us get a deeper understanding on the biggest social, legal and political events of the week. He wears many other hats: board member, Lake Basin Development Authority, canon in the Anglican Church of Kenya, published author, and every Sunday morning from 8, Weda joins Millicent Aroka to discuss spirituality, prosperity, success and other highly motivational issues.